This is going to be the first of many installments of Monday Morph Day. So we're going to be talking about the GHI. GHI stands for Gotta Have It, and it was first discovered by Matt Lira in 2007 in Florida. The GHI was described as having misshapen alien heads with rings and splatters of gold, silvery flames, and a pitch background. Now the GHI is an incomplete dominant, which means it does have a super form, and it just gets wackier and darker and crazier. Now we're going to be ranking the GHI on aesthetics, compatibility, affordability, market demand. So for aesthetics, the GHI is going to be receiving a 3.8 out of 5. Now this is actually quite high compared to some of the other animals that we're going to be having on Monday Morph Day. It's just them gold bands just look absolutely crazy, and there's so many things you can actually do with the GHI. Especially when it comes to the big three, Desert Ghost, Clown and Hypo. A lot of those combos that contain GHI seem to just always look incredible. Now for a dark morph, GHI is very good at bringing up nice highlights on the back. It's something that GHI tends to do quite a lot in combos, but it's not just the dark stuff that GHI does well with, it also does well with light. I mean, from a personal point of view, I would always tend to use GHI with the darker stuff, as I like my palettes to be quite dark and moody, but there's no reason why GHI can't be used in light stuff. I mean, some of these examples here are lighter than the GHI. The GHI Mojave was such a staple in everyone's collections for so long. That's why for compatibility, I'm giving it a 3.8. Now, new breeders, I know what you're thinking. Something so versatile has probably got to cost an absolute bomb. Not really. I mean, GHI's prices have actually gone down quite a lot in recent years. For something so versatile, which is why we're going to be giving affordability a 5 out of 5. It's relatively a cheap gene. So how does such a cheap and versatile gene fare up in the next category? Market demand. When it comes to market demand, there's actually not a lot of GHI on the market. So there's 3,367 ball pythons on Morph Market on the UK page alone, 130 of which contain the GHI gene. Globally, 1,800 snakes contain GHI, which actually isn't a lot if you think about it. But that doesn't mean that it ain't worth it. But is it worth it? Oh my god, yeah, it is.
Shut up and take my money!
Now we are talking about GHI as a standalone morph, and that's the reason why it's getting a 2.5 out of 5. Giving an overall rating of 3.8 out of 5, that's a pretty good score. So, the question is, GHI, do you gotta have it? I would say yeah. GHI is definitely one of those staples in a collection that can make things look wacky and really out of control, you know, as a pattern mutation, but also as a dark color mutation. Like I said earlier, I like my palettes to be dark and moody. Some people can put GHI into the light stuff and it still looks incredible. See, GHI is such an incredible gene, and to help you guys understand it a little bit more, I'm going to bring in a special guest and we're going to talk about it. Sweet, right, so I am joined by Pete from Radiant Morphs.
Hi everyone, how are you?
Yeah, not too bad, mate, not too bad. So, I've got a couple of questions for you, and it's regarding, I am basically filming for a YouTube video, and we're talking about GHI. Do you really have to have it? So, what are your thoughts on GHI in the collection?
You've got to, like, it's such a powerful gene. It does so much for, and it's codom as well, and it's just a brilliant gene.
Yeah, I think it's when I was looking at the description of GHI, and obviously it talks about bringing out them gold stripes or them gold bands. I mean, you can see in quite a few examples in the video that some of them gold bands just really complete the animal. I mean, they tend to they make everything look really messy, and I think that's something that GHI works quite well at. Is it's almost kind of like a planned messiness, and you kind of do get them sort of random spirals, but also the darkness as well. Obviously, they tend to make a lot of combos darker, but they do work with the light stuff as well. So with GHI, do you have any GHI in your collection?
Yeah, we've got 3 of our animals have GHI. So we've got a male and female pair of GHIs that are both het for VPI Azanthic.
Nice.
So we're pairing those up this year, and hopefully we'll get some GHI Azanthics. Maybe even a super GHI if we're really lucky. That will be a whole part of our sort of GHI Xanthic project that we've got going on. Once we've got those visuals, we're going to start getting in some DG and all of that sort of stuff to really clean it up and boost that contrast. But that, like you say, that GHI gene, darkening everything up, it just really helps crisp up those dark tones.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean,
Well,
I think somewhere in the video I did put a picture of a GHI Desert Ghost, and I think just the fact that DG just tends to, like you say, increase that contrast. I mean, the background of this animal is absolutely jet black, and the yellows that normally comes through with GHI just looks absolutely unreal. Is that something that you've thought about for a long time doing, or is it a recent project?
yeah, I mean, yeah, we love the things with contrast, be it contrasting colors or patterns, or I mean, I think it was the guys at Leviathan who sort of hit the nail on the head by saying you need to think about color,
Mm,
pattern, and how to enhance it. You know, you've got to work with all three to get that really visually pleasing snake. You know, and I
100%.
think, like you say, that's what's good about GHI as well. With the darkening thing, our third animal that we've got is a Wookiee GHI banana
Nice.
that we picked up from Tony at Alto Pythons.
Nice, yep.
And so, you know, we're really looking forward to getting some of that into other projects. But that GHI just sort of lifts those tones that might be lost with those enhancing genes. You know, if you start stacking up all these enhancing genes like hypo and DG, you start losing some of those other tones, you know, and it just helps boost that contrast back into it. So yeah,
Absolutely.
for a long time we've been thinking that it's a bit of a staple for these multi-gene projects we've got going on.
100%. I mean, currently I've got a Enchi Desert Ghost Hypo being put to a Mojave Orange Dream double het Hypo DG, and I think later on down the line, I think GHI is definitely something that I'm going to have in there. I mean, the Enchi Desert Ghost Hypo by itself, it is a nice looking animal. Don't get me wrong. You know, it's very frosted from that Rene line of Hypo, and obviously you get the contrast trying to come back through with the DG. But yeah, say with the Enchi Hypo DG, it's, you know, it's a very frosted animal. It still does look very, very nice, and obviously that DG is trying to pull back some of that contrast. But I think if it was to have something slightly darker in there, like you said, you know, something like GHI, I think it is just going to pull that contrast straight back through. So I think, yeah, that's definitely going to be a future project for sure. Do you think GHI has a lot of room to, you know, stay relevant, you know, for years to come in breeding ball pythons?
Oh yeah, 100%. Like we were saying, it's got so much going for it in terms of pattern disruption, those darkening tones, what you were saying about highlighting those sort of flames and those yellow banding. It can apply at sort of all levels of the hobby. You know, you go on Morph Market now, you'll find a single gene GHI for like 30 quid. Might
Yeah,
even have a het on there, like a het clown or something.
exactly.
But I think Paul at Urban Constrictors has got a Stranger Chocolate GHI Clown Het Hypo
Yeah,
up for like 4 grand.
yeah,
There's something for everyone with GHI. I think you can't go wrong with getting it into your project, even if it's not with everything you've got. It has a place everywhere.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. It's funny that you should mention that that combo, because I've actually got it in the video. Um, as an example of how you can utilize GHI, definitely. And
Oh,
I mean,
it's a stunning animal.
it's crazy, and I would chuck every single penny I got to own that animal. It is absolutely insane. I think he also had a chocolate GHI fire pastel yellow belly clown, and that thing
Oh
was just looking insane. And I think that was also another really good way to show people that GHI isn't just for the dark stuff. You know, like obviously
no, it's not.
like I said, I like to keep my color palette. It's very dark and moody. So, you know, super GHI yellow belly, that kind of thing. But the chocolate GHI fire pastel yellow belly clown was really, really light. It was almost kind of the only way I can describe it is like a sandstorm sort of color, and but it just looks ridiculous, you know. And it's so bright. The contrast is still there, but it still kind of itches the scratch of my dark and moody just because of that
In a
contrast, you know.
different way, yeah.
Yeah, exactly that. So yeah, I think yeah, GHI for me as well personally. I think it's got to stay. It's got to stay.
It's got to. I mean, it's
Absolutely.
like you say, it's not just the darkening thing. It sort of makes those sort of brown tones a lot richer as well.
Yeah,
It's not just about those bringing those blacks back in. It just gives a whole thing a richness in those tones.
absolutely. Right. Well, thank you for coming on to the channel.
No worries.
Been
Thank you
an,
for having us.
no worries, bud. Been an absolute pleasure. And I'll see you
No worries,
later.
man. I'll catch you in a bit.
Have a good one, mate.
Cheers, mate.